This is ASEAN Talk, a space for the youth of ASEAN and China to voice fresh ideas and valuable experience in relation to the ASEAN developments as well as ASEAN-China relations. ASEAN Talk will inform stakeholders on frontier developments and emerging trends, particularly the 5 domains of ASEAN Youth Development Index, which are education, health and well-being, employment and opportunity, participation and engagement, ASEAN awareness, values, and identity.
Hey everyone, my name is Alwani Shaidun, and I am from the Esports Association of Brunei. So today we'll be discussing a bit about how life is behind the esports industry and also from my perspective as a female player in the industry. So a little background of how everything started, how I initially got into the esports industry, how from being a young girl with big dreams, and I ended up fulfilling my hobbies into a career. Here's how a look in the day of my life is kind of like. So as I said earlier, hi, my name is Alwani Shaidun. I am currently 24, the only female of my generation in my family, actually. So it's kind of surprising how I'm the only one in the gaming industry in comparison to my brothers. I've just recently completed my honors in marketing at a local college here in Brunei. And with that, it has helped me push through a lot of my challenges actually in the esports industry. And in the coming few slides, I will let you understand how that has helped me. So, how my esports journey started. It was actually, I first started the esports industry around the age of 11. I slowly pursued building myself in the industry. I wanted to stream, I wanted to actually participate in a lot of the tournaments that was happening back in the day, but due to the age restriction, I was unable to. So I focused on myself first until one fateful day in 2017 or 2016. It's a long time ago, guys. And there was a rumor happening actually about a all-female Counter-Strike tournament that was going to happen right here in Brunei. And I was interested. Believe me, I was very interested because I thought, hey, why not, right? So my friend introduced me to this team that was looking for a fifth player. And I could give this a shot. But in turn, there wasn't an event happening. It was not. It was just a post. It was just clickbait. I was clickbaited into joining the team. Since we already formed a proper team, we had our sponsors, we had our jerseys, we had our training regimes and everything. Might as well just carry on with it. In 2018, there was a qualifier to head on to Kuala Lumpur to participate in World Electronic Sports Games. And it was the first time they held it in Kuala Lumpur. Our team was just excited. We were ready. We were like, it's an all-female tournament. It's the same game. We can shoot, they can shoot. So why not try our best and see if we can land a spot in the finals? And we did. We qualified for Kuala Lumpur. We flew out. It was really rough because it was our first event out as a full team, but it just pushed us to strive and train more and improve ourselves even more as a team. That was how it all started. I want to open a discussion about esports because the stigma behind esports is that you only play games, that it's a waste of time, that it doesn't bring you any benefits whatsoever. But esports is just more than that. With esports, it has helped me build who I am today. And it has built the confidence for me to speak out what I would like to say. Because I know now more of the things that without esports, I would just be nothing. I would have been quiet. I would have been a nobody. It also helped me build connections with my peers from the international level. Before this, I was just, housed in Brunei. I only had minimal contact with people. Being the only girl in the household, I get protected a bit too much, a little princess treatment here and there. But behind the screen, you're just someone else. It just makes you different. You can finally live who you want to be. As I said, yeah, your horizons are broadened with more opportunities. So I will explain later how I became from a esports player to shortcasting and then into hosting major events that is available to for other countries to participate in as well. And that brings me to the last part where with this, I learned so much about event managing to a different level. Usually I thought, to me back then, event managing is just hosting a game. What's so difficult? You get the money, you get the players, you get the game, and you merge them all together, you have an event. But it's just so much more than that. And I cannot express how thankful I am for my peers that were guiding me throughout the way. So here comes my life as a esports enthusiast from a young age. A little fun fact about me. I used to want to become a lawyer. I've always aspired criminology and I wanted to become a barista and all that. But once I've discovered esports, it was just life-changing. When you were a kid, you would be asked, what would you like to be when you grow up? And usual answers would be, I would like to be a teacher, astronaut. Mine was a lawyer, but look where life brought me today. Hosting some of the biggest events that, you can participate in as well. So from my personal experience as a female in the industry, I was actually also privileged to be participating with an all-female team here in Brunei Darussalam, representing the country in numerous tournaments outside for the game CSGO. So after that, I went to shoutcasting after retiring from the esports scene. Decided maybe it's not my time anymore. Maybe my time in the spotlight is done because there's so much more better players out there. And I'd like to keep a little bit of pride in me. Whatever's left in me. And hosting. I've been hosting online and offline tournaments as well. And we'll touch on that in a bit. But here's a little rundown in a small snippet of my life. So here's what I've done throughout my career in esports. So as you can see, I wasn't only limited to being a competitive player. I was a shoutcaster, commentator, and master of ceremonies as well. I also became a content creator as well as part of the production crew, and I became a social media admin. So here is some of my experiences. You can see me on the left-hand corner there. These are my experiences in Kuala Lumpur, my very first event outside of Brunei, where a few Bruneian teams were sent out to play. For the females, for the female and male, there were one team of Counter-Strike each. There was Vainglory and there was Dota 2. So this was our first event out. It was really exciting. This one was when I moved to becoming part of the production team and the master of ceremonies. This was one of our last offline events before COVID hit in Brunei. During that time, it was really rough. It was really a struggle because we've gone from hosting so many offline events to having to go back online, not seeing the crowd. From a small team of only a couple of people, just a handful of people in this picture, we managed to bring the DSD Pilot Cup series to life. This one was one of my proudest moments. This was because of my esports journey as well. Because in Brunei, we have this thing called Wawasan 2035. So basically, it's the vision of how 2035 is going to look. So, with that in mind, they had this young leaders convention from participants as young as the age of 18 to 45, if I'm not mistaken. And in 2019, I was invited as the youngest speaker ever to have joined. And a lot of people were surprised because you wouldn't expect to see esports in an economics forum. But there I was. So you see, from 2019 to 2020, how much different the growth in esports is. The picture you see right in front of the screen here, it's a bit blurry, but you can see how the team has grown from just a handful of people to a whole stage of people. So, as we were digressing a lot about how life was behind the eyes of esports, digital importance in the industry is also important. Yes, get what I mean. Here are some where I have personally been through and why I think it's important. So, becoming an admin in the industry, if you don't have the common knowledge, you really, really fall behind. When I was the admin, I had to use some uh, like everyday applications like Google Sheets, Google Form, everything, all the Microsoft products as well. And I wasn't fluent. I'll be honest right here. I wasn't fluent. I think probably a high schooler can do it better than me. I just thought about having the job done, but facing the reality of what was behind the closed door waiting for me, a lot of tears were shed. Media, yeah, media as well. So from my perspective of the admin as well, sometimes it's good to be able to multitask. Doesn't necessarily mean that you are an admin. You just give other people the task, you copyright, you post. No, it's good to also have some multimedia knowledge. I would say a little bit of knowledge in Photoshop wouldn't hurt anybody. So sometimes you have to just man up and take it for yourself, get it done by yourself. And lastly, hosting. I cannot begin to talk about how important the digital importance in hosting is because you need to do a lot of research on what needs to be done, how it is important to keep up with whatever is going on around the industry. Because once you fall behind just by a bit, a lot of other companies would be catching up and also taking over where you stand. And it's not something you want in this day and age. And we will move on to my final segment, how being a female has affected how certain things happen in esports. So I would like to put a disclaimer here. This is from my point of view. Being a female doesn't actually limit you from doing what you want. During my time where esports wasn't really big of a thing, there it did feel a bit difficult being a female playing in a male dominant industry. So the harsh reality in being a female in a male dominant industry is that it's all fun and games until you finally understand what it feels like to be here. How mentally everything is challenging. Everyone just attacks you stereotypically, and how physically and emotionally it's just harsh. So the upside of things is, I want to say it's easier to start. People are more friendlier towards you, especially the ones you know. And it's easier to stay in the industry if you have the strong mentality to do so. So that brings me to the downside of things. The critiques are just horrible here. Let's say the action is captured live, and it's something that in the industry is a common or simple mistake. People tend to be, oh, this is why did you do this instead of that? Why did you not do this instead of that? And they would just shame you just because you're a female. How I dealt with the toxicity in the environment, I was initially discouraged. I'm not going to lie. It really hurt. It made me take a break from esports for a while due to the negativity in the environment. I want to say, seeing how the public were more open to esports for women, such as FSL events or ESL events, like I felt like I could conquer the world after that. Seeing how we had a category to ourselves rather than butting in to the male scene, why not come back into the female scene, right? So I grew immune to the toxicity. If it was offline, I just dulled it all out. If it was online, I would just close the communications and just continue playing my own game. I've kept my head up every single way, from every career I've gotten, from every backlash that I've received. It didn't matter to me because what's most important was that I believed in myself. I believed in my capabilities. I believed in my strength. And that is where it got me today. Esports is honestly no different from a 9 to 5 job. From the experiences it gives you and to the emotions that are required. Esports is also physically tiring, to say the very least. It's no different how we also need to go through training, how we succumb to hours and hours of being together, training together. That's already a lot of hours in a day that you've used. You need to train together. You need to analyze together. You need to talk about what's your next big step in the events that are coming forward, and what have you done that affects the other players. I believe that there is no major difference from esports. You still need to use your mental capabilities. You still need to keep your physical health well. You also need to keep your emotional health well, which was what I had the trouble with back then. But that's a story for another day. And with that, I would like to end my discussion today. I hope this has really changed the minds of how the esports industry was in the eyes to some of you. Maybe some of you are already aware that esports is currently growing all around the world, that there are events for everyone. And if you would like to keep in touch with me, my socials are posted on the screen. Until next time, I'll see you around.